Hello everyone, welcome to Cricket. Today we'll be previewing the first test match between Pakistan and England that is all set to be played at Old Trafford from tomorrow. I'm Prashant and I'm joined by Amay.
Hello, Prashant, and I'm looking forward to this session with you.
Same bro, same.
So we'll start with the series introduction first of all.
Okay.
So Pakistan have arrived in England last month, and they have been in the biosecure environment since past 1 month now. So the first test begins tomorrow, and which will be followed by another test at Southampton, and the third test will also be played at Southampton. So let's look at the past record first of all. Like, what do you have
Sure.
about the past two series Pakistan played versus England?
Sure. So they played the second last series of the two played the second last series in 2016, and then the last series they played together was in 2018. Both times, Pakistan were able to draw the series on the back of their fine performances by their batsmen. They won at London and Lords, but this time there won't be any test matches in London. They'll be playing at Southampton, as you said, and at Old Trafford. So they drew the series in 2016 by 2-2, and then again in 2018 it was a one apiece.
Okay, so if we look in 2018, the series was drawn. Again in 2016, the series was drawn. So we haven't seen a likely winner in the past two series as we see here. So if we look at the squad which Pakistan has picked up, quite just there are just 2-3 players who have been repeated from the past series which they played in 2016. Azhar Ali is one of them. Shan Masood is another name. Whereas the entire Pakistan squad is they just have a new squad here now. They
They
are
have
in
a
the
pretty
rebuilding
young side.
phase.
They have a pretty young side.
Yeah, they have a new captain. Sarfaraz Ahmad is not the captain anymore. Then when they played the series in 2016 against England in England, we had Misbah ul Haq as the captain, who is now the coach of the Pakistan national side. So too many changes have happened in the squad so far. So how are you looking at things? Like, what do we expect from the Pakistan side here?
Well, one thing that is for sure with the Pakistan side that they will possess a challenge more than what West Indies did to England in the last series. I know they have a pretty inexperienced squad, but they, as always, possess raw talent and unpredictability with them. They have a gun bowling attack, even though they are young, but they know their role very much. And in batting lineup, if they perform well and they bat around Babar Azam, I think they have a chance. But you're right, they will miss the company of Yunus Khan and Misbah ul Haq, who were prolific for them in the last two series.
Yeah, if we look at the 2016 stats of Pakistani batsmen, Azhar Ali was their highest run scorer with 295 runs. He averaged 42 and he scored 100 during the 2016 tour of England.
Sure.
The second highest scorer was Azhar Shafi, who's also part of the squad this time. He averaged 39 with 100 to his name. So if we look at the difference between the England's top scorer and Pakistan's top scorer in the last series, England's top scorer was Joe Root with 512 runs, and he averaged 73 with 100 and 250s. Whereas the first highest run scorer for Pakistan was Azhar Ali with 295 runs. So look at the difference between the runs. It's 512 runs for Root and 295 runs for Azhar Ali. So somewhere down the line we see that Pakistan batsmen have been scoring not that great. They have had low scoring encounters first of all. Yeah. Also in the 2016, I think you must be remembering about the 100 Misbah scored at Lords, and after the 100, he had those push-ups done, as a salute to the army. So what do you think about the England squad? Like, England have named an unchanged 14-man squad. So what do you think about it?
Well, England have peaked at the right time. They were initially very rusty when they played the first test match at Southampton. They lost it. But as soon as Joe Root and Stuart Broad came into the side, they were literally looking like an unbeatable side at Old Trafford in both the test matches. So I believe that Pakistan have their task cut out. I know they have a record that they should be proud of. I'll tell you a stat. In the last 10 years, Pakistan have won the most test matches in England, which is more than in
Okay.
India and Australia. They played 10 and they've won 4. So they know England conditions and they know how to beat them. But this time it won't be easy because they are lacking that experience with Misbah, even though they are with the side, but it's the players that do the job on the field. So I feel they have to hit the ground running. And the one mistake that Jason Holder did that Adar Ali should not do in the test series is when if he wins the toss, he should not field first. He should always bat first and back his spinner Yasir Shah, who's picked a 10-wicket haul, if I'm not wrong, in 2018. So he will
Yeah.
have that luxury of playing a leggy. So if Pakistan wins the toss and bat first, then they do have a chance. Otherwise, England will easily, I won't say easily, but they will have their upper hand in the entire series.
And one more thing we saw in the West Indies series was, Anderson and Broad, they just played one test together. In the first test, Broad was dropped. Second test, Anderson was rested. And in the third test, they both played together. So what do you think? Will England continue to, randomly, just have Anderson rested for one test and Broad for one test? Or will they, have them together in this entire series of 3 test
Well,
matches?
ideally, I'll want both the stars to play because they have more than 500 test match wickets. I don't think if two pacers in India had those stats, they would have played every test matches in every condition.
Yeah.
So it should be a given that Anderson and Broad should start the 11. And as Anderson is nearing 600 wickets, he will be looking to clinch that at his hometown in Old Trafford in the first test itself. Stuart Broad has been bowling better than anyone else in the world, in my opinion, in the last few years. So they should definitely play. They would be also looking to introduce and include Archer in the 11 because he possesses another challenge. He has that raw pace that can trouble any side when the conditions get flat on the third or the fourth day. So ideally, England should start with Anderson, Broad, Archer, and maybe play a Vokes in if Ben Stokes doesn't bowl, which he didn't in the third test. If he doesn't bowl, then they should include Vokes as well.
And do you think that England might just drop Dominic Bess for an extra batsman, because Pakistan batsmen are normally a good players of spin. Like they play spin better than any country, like just as India. So do you think they'll drop Bess here, because Bess had a pretty good series against West Indies?
Well, they can go that route, but I don't think they will drop him because the England coach Chris Silverwood has already mentioned that they are planning to give Bess a longer run, and they are eyeing the series in India, which will happen in January and February next year. So Bess needs that chance, and when he bowls to the Pakistan batsman, he'll be more aware about its strengths and weaknesses. So I think Bess should also be included in the 11, and I think he bowled really well in the Test series against West Indies. So I don't think he has done anything wrong. So if I am Joe Root, I will definitely pick him in the 11.
Okay, so let's look at the probable 11. What would be your starting 11 for England?
Okay, the starting 11 for England would be Rory Burns, Dom Sibley. At third, I'd bat Joe Root. At four, Ben Stokes picks himself. Then I'd include Oli Pope. Then Josh Butler. At seven, I'd pick Chris Wokes because he picked the fifer in the last test match against West Indies, and he has a prolific record against Pakistan, mind you. In 2016, when he burst on the scene, he was named the Wisden Cricketer of the Year because he was the man of the series. So he has a fabulous record. Chris Wokes at seven. At eight, I'd pick Dominic Bess. And then the three fast bowlers would be Archer, Broad, and Anderson. That would be my predictable 11.
Okay, if I have 1-2 changes from your playing 11.
Sure.
So I would have Dom Sibley and Rory Burns to open with Zach Crawley at 3. I think Crawley did well in the West Indies series, in the first test especially. He played a gritty knock, I would say, and that was quite unexpected from a youngster like him. Then I have Root at 4, Stokes at 5, Oli Pope at 6, Butler 7. At 8, I would either have Bess or Vokes. One of them. I would just pick one of them. 9, 10, 11 would be Jofra Archer, James Anderson, and Stuart Broad. So I just feel that, since Pakistan plays spin really well, I'm just a bit tentative of playing Dominic Bess here. But then it's up to the coaching staff to decide, who is included in the playing 11.
Would
so
you be,
if we look, go ahead.
would you be tempted to play somebody like a Sam Curran who will provide a different angle? And mind you, whenever he has played, England has never lost a test match, which is a freakish record. He burst on the scene in the India series. He's been phenomenal for them.
Yeah, and Sam Curran can even bat too, even
Sure.
like he can be used as a pinch
Sure.
hitter, or if in case Josh Butler fails, you have Sam Curran as your backup. But then I would just play one of Sam Curran or Chris Wokes, and even Dominic Bess can bat. So we have like three bowlers who can bat a bit, and even Broad, in the third test we saw
a bit of an all-rounder himself.
Yeah. So, and there are all these players. Even Archer is a pinch hitter, so the tail gets a bit long down the order. So you'll have to just see how the conditions are. But I'd be tempted to play Sam Curran, but for the first test, I would either go with Bess or Wokes, because Wokes for his rewarding his past performance in the third test versus West Indies.
So what about the England 11? Sorry, Pakistan 11.
Yeah. So the Pakistan 11. Firstly, I've got Shan Masood and Abid Ali to open, because there is no other opener in the side. I had a feeling that Mohammad Hafiz or Fakhar Zaman would get picked, but they have not been included in the 20-man squad. So these two would be my openers. At 3, I have Azhar Ali, Babar Azam. 5 and 6 would be Fawad Alam, Asad Shafiq. Number 7 would be Mohammad Rizwan. I think Rizwan has been phenomenal. He scored 100 in the warm-ups. The Pakistani sides played against each other. Pakistan white versus Pakistan green.
He also batted really well against Australia last year in Brisbane. He got a 90.
Yes. So Rizwan has been terrific. So, people have been talking about, including Sarfaraz Ahmed in the squad, but in the playing 11. But I think, they should stick with Rizwan, because he has batted well, and he should not be dropped for someone, who has not been up to the mark since last couple of years, I would say. Then at 8, I would have Yasir Shah. Again, he was the second highest wicket taker in the 2016 series against England in England. Then at 9, I have Shaheen Shah Afridi, 10 Naseem Shah, and 11 I have Mohammad Abbas, because Mohammad Abbas has that ability to swing it both ways. He gets that early movement of the ball, so gets those balls to come inside. So there's a lot Mohammad Abbas can offer to the Pakistan lineup. So what is your playing 11 for the Pakistan side?
Well, Amay, I'm not copying you, but I have the same 11 that I'll also field in the first test match. I feel it's a perfect side, and it is a balanced side. If I pick out 3 key players from the Pakistan side in the first test match, one would be obviously Babar Azam, because of his phenomenal record in all 3 formats. Second would be Naseem Shah, who has a brilliant action and who is coming on the back of a fine series against Sri Lanka. He became the youngest to pick the hat-trick against them in the series. So I feel he'll also make a name for himself. And the third person I'd like to mention, which isn't brought up enough, is their captain Azhar Ali. You pointed out his record in England. He has an experience of playing county cricket as well in England. He plays for Somerset. So Azhar Ali will have to lead from the front. And don't forget, he's batting at 3, which is a very crucial spot. Considering the opening partnership of Pakistan is very inexperienced, I would want Azhar Ali to hit the ground running and score runs. And if he gets set, make them and convert them into bigger scores, which will benefit his side.
Do you think that, if the Pakistani openers fail, just in case, Abid Ali, he has not had a good record in the warm-ups they played. His scores were, very less. I think he scored 10 and 1 in the first warm-up, which was very poor. I've got the actual figures here. He scored 10 and 1 in the first warm-up. In the second warm-up, he scored 16. So, not quite of a record in the warm-ups. So, do you think that, if Abid Ali fails in the first test, Do you see Azhar Ali opening the innings with Shan Masood in the second innings, just in case?
Well, that can be an option, but I'd still back Abid Ali to play the entire three-match series because he has shown that even though he's around 32 years old, he has shown that he has got the quality and has got the temperament to score runs against international sides. So I will play him in the entire three-match series. And as an opener in England, sometimes you are unlucky because the ball does seam and swing around. So
Yeah.
I'd back him to play the series, but yeah, definitely that can be an option to promote Azhar Ali at the opening spot because he is their most experienced batsman.
And if you look at the middle order, especially Babar Azam will be followed by Fawad Alam and Asad Shafiq. Fawad Alam is making a comeback into the
Sure.
Pakistan side after years. He has grinded it in the domestic circuit and he has finally got this opportunity. And I really hope that Pakistan pick him in this first test because that person really deserves a chance. He has waited since a very long time. And, he can even ball a bit. He's a left arm spinner. So just in case, you want spin from both ends, then you can have Yasir Shah here and then you can have Fawad Alam bowling from the other end. So you have the left arm spinning as also the option from Fawad Alam.
Well,
One more record would... Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I completely agree with you. Fawad Alam is a given in the side because he is a left-hander. So if we see the batting line of Pakistan, there's only Shan Masood who is a southpaw. So he will add a different kind of dimension to the side, and he has that Chanderpaul stance which will, frustrate the English bowlers if he gets in, and he has the ability to score big as well, which you need in the squad.
And if you look at the 2016 record, Sohail Khan had picked 13 wickets in the 2016 series. The highest wicket taker was Chris Woakes with 26 wickets. Second highest was and which was followed by Sohail Khan, who's also included in this squad of the 20-man squad, which Pakistan will play against England for the 3 tests. So do you think that, Sohail Khan, might just get a nudge over, someone like Afridi or, Naseem Shah? Because Mohammad Abbas will surely play. So we'll have to see how this thing goes. What do you think about this?
Well, Sohail Khan in my team will only play if there is an injury issue with the 3 fast bowlers. I'd pick Naseem Shah because his Raw is only 17 years old and this can be a defining tour for him as a bowler. Plus, Shaheen Shah Afridi hasn't played a test match in England, but he has a phenomenal record in white ball cricket. If you remember, when he came into the side in the last year World Cup, he picked a 6 against Bangladesh and he also performed well against South Africa. So I feel he is their best bowler at the moment, and Mohammad Abbas will be handful with that Duke's ball, and he knows how to use it because he's the highest wicket taker in the 2018 series. So I'd pick these 3, but if there is an injury issue, my first pick after them would be Sohail Khan.
Yeah, and Afridi is coming from the Bangladesh test match, which was played at Rawalpindi just a few months back. He got a hat-trick in that match and had picked 5 wickets, if I'm not wrong.
Yep.
So he's coming up strong. We might just see him pick more wickets in the series.
And another stats I'd like to put out is that at Old Trafford, Pakistan has played 6 test matches. They've only won 1 game and they've lost 2 and they've drawn 3. So it is an okayish record. It isn't a record that they'd like to boast about, but I feel Old Trafford pitch will suit them a little because it is on the drier side and Misbah is also tempted to play 2 spinners. So I feel if they bat first, they will definitely have a chance, but they should not make that mistake what Jason Holder did. Win the toss and bat first.
Yeah, and Naseem Shah has picked 10 wickets in the warm-ups, which they recently played. Yep. Naseem and Sohail are the 2 bowlers who picked 10 wickets each. So these were the 2 highest wicket takers in the warm-ups. Followed by Afridi, he picked 7, and Mohammad Abbas picked just 4. But I think Mohammad Abbas picks himself in the playing 11. So I don't think his place is under any scrutiny as of now.
I agree with you.
So the first test will be played at Old Trafford, and the second and third test will be played at Southampton. That's in Aegis Bowl. So
this test match is also important if we see the World Test Championship, because India is placed at 1 comfortably. They have 360 points. Australia is at second. They have 296. Then there is a gap. Then there is England at third with 226 and Pakistan at fifth at 140 points. So 120 points at stake. England will be aiming to win it 3-0, because if they do that, they'll be going to the second spot and they'll bridge the gap between them and India. Whereas Pakistan, if they win the series, they'll also climb to the second spot. So it is a very important series for both of them, considering the World Test Championship also.
yeah, so we are looking forward to this test series between Pakistan and England, and I'm sure it's going to be an absolute thriller for all of us, because
So.
we have waited for this series since a while now. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, cricket was halted for a while, and then you didn't have any cricket. All the fans were bored at staying home. Then the England West Indies series started, and now we have a big series, Pakistan versus England. So I'm really looking forward to it. Prashant, what would be your prediction going into the series?
Well, to start with, I'd obviously say that England are the firm favorites to win the series. But I never count out Pakistan, because I feel their players are very exciting. And with that unpredictability tag that they possess, they can outshine anyone on their given day. So I feel if they bat well, they can draw the series or even win it 2-1. But to begin with, I'd back England to win the series 3-0.
Okay, I'll go with a draw again this time. 1-1, I would say, Pakistan 1, England 1, and I expect one test to get drawn. So this is my prediction, because I'll just go with the past record. If the past two series have been drawn, I expect Pakistan to, show some strength here. They will fight back. They won't, even if they're 2 down in the series, they won't let the third test go off their hands. So they will come back strong, even if they lose the first 2 tests. So with this, I think, Prashant, we should bring this discussion to an end.
Lastly, I'd just like to mention my fantasy 11 for all the fans that they'll be looking. So I'd pick Rory Burns, Azhar Ali, Joe Root, Babar Azam, Oli Pope, Ben Stokes, Josh Butler, Yasir Shah, Stuart Broad, Shahin Shah Afridi, and Anderson. My captain in the squad would be Ben Stokes, whereas the vice captain, I'd pick Joe Root.
Okay, I have the exact same squad here again, but this time I just have one change here. I've left out Butler and brought Rizwan in, just because for rewarding his past performance, and I expect him to score a lot of runs in this series. So Rizwan is the only change, except that it's the same, and I would have Azhar Ali as my captain and Rory Burns as my vice captain. So this would be my dream 11, playing 11. So I hope, Prashant, you enjoyed this session.
I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
And we'll keep doing more of these previews, post-match sessions, pre-match sessions, and we'll look forward to making more of these, and we'll get back to you soon with our next video. Thank you for watching on CricFit.
Thank you, bro. Thanks.